Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm just doing a video about this recent headline from Blabbermouth about Tom Morello being friends with Ted Nugent. And it's really interesting. Um, Tom Morello is kind of a weird person. I guess he's proclaiming now that he's an anarchist, which is, to me, is definitely a superior position to what he had said in the 90s, where he was, or a lot closer to a lot of the Marxist opinions. Now, there is definitely a quantitative difference between Marxism and anarchism. I'd probably have to say at this point I'm starting to really be pushed towards anti-statism and somewhat anarchism, especially after watching a couple interviews with Michael Malice more recently. I say I still believe in government, but in a lot of ways, I guess I would, fall closer to like maybe a centrist position with anarchism, not really an anarcho-capitalist, but not really you know, a leftist anarchist, quote unquote. Now, what's really interesting with these statements from Tom Morello, though, is that it's really a testament to. I mean, a lot of people might say, "Oh, it's like I forgot what the theory was called, where it's like far left and far right are closer than people that are in the center." The whatever that theory is called. It's a part of me just reading all the time and these different theories. Um, you know, it's been a while since I read some of this stuff anyway. So, what do I think about this announcement? And I know the left is probably screaming and crying in their fucking beer. I mean, or their soy milk, I should say. I mean, with the gist of it is that we live in such a polarized culture right now and society that Tom Morello saying this is actually a fucking brave statement. I know I saw the clip of Henry Rollins saying that with Ted Nugent too, and it was really interesting. Now, I am actually a fan of the Amboy Dukes and some of his solo work. I think Ted Nugent is a talented guitarist. I don't know why he plays. It's weird that he plays 5150 PVs or 6505 as far as like what he plays now, because it's like not really. It doesn't really tend like lend itself well to bluesy rock, but I guess maybe because Hartley PV is some right wing Southerner or something. I don't know why he plays a PV 5150. I used to have a 5150. I sold it because I had to move from my former place. Unfortunately, I'm gonna probably buy a new one eventually because I do like the sound. Best guitar tone I've heard live. Probably one of them. Like Devin Townsend played one at a show I saw and was just fucking amazing. Or on Ocean Machine, and also, well, I've seen him twice actually. Also, Arch Enemy and Carcass played him too. Carcass more recently plays the 5153. But anyways, I love enough guitar geek tone talk. Um, Ted Nugent and Tom Morello being friends is something we need more to hear more of. People disagree politically, but can actually talk, have conversations. I guess he texts Ted Nugent sometimes. Really bizarre blabbermouth article, and people are, oh, I don't care about Tom Morello anyways. He's not really a good person anyways. I mean, I, it's difficult. I mean, I think, like I said, like people have said, there's a correlation between, like, I knew a guy that voted for Trump, but he voted for Bernie in the primaries. It just happens. There is a anti-establishment, and I'm not saying that Donald Trump wasn't part of the establishment, but at least perceived as not part of the establishment. There is like a correlation to all this. So there is some synchronicities or parallels, I should say, not synchronicities with this whole thing. So, but I think it's a good thing. Tom Morello came out and said this. I think Tom Morello is kind of a weird queso with his hypocrisy and stuff, a lot of stuff. Like he'll essentially like he gives credence to a lot of stuff that would back in the '90s that he probably would have said that they were bourgeois, socialist. We need socialist realism in art and music. I'm not saying that he would say that. He's always admitted to liking a lot of shredders and stuff back in the day. He was always, I think he was, Michelangelo Badio might have been one of his guitar teachers, as far as I remember. So the guy can really shred, believe it or not. I'm not a big fan of Rage Against the Machine, but the guy can shred. But yeah, I think we need to hear more of this. We need to have solidarity between those we disagree with politically. And, I'm not going to go into Ted's private life from the 70s, like numerous other rock musicians from the 70s. They would be in prison if there were no statute of limitations and the cancel culture was transported to back then. They would be in prison. Rock and roll would be a prison band. It would be a huge prison band of ever rock and metal artists, pretty much, because all the underage groupies that went around. So, but yeah, obviously, I think I could perceive a lot of things that Ted Nugent said where they were stupid and racist, but at the same time, he also talks about black blues musicians a lot of the time too. So it's kind of complicated, as with anything, to just say you're a racist. There's a spectrum. There's a lot of different contradictions and a lot of different things. But I'm glad Tom Morello came out and said this. I hope it pisses off a lot of his fan base. And I hope it pisses off, simultaneously, if Ted Nugent came out and said, yeah, Tom and I are good friends, Tom Morello and I hope it pisses off his fan base, because we need to get to beyond this fucking tribalistic bullshit political divisiveness in this country. It's tearing things down. And you know who's running away with all the wealth? The giant corporations. I'm going to be doing a long form video about woke corporatism pretty soon. I'm probably going to write it out and get it a little bit more edited. I'm going to try to do actually some more less stream of consciousness videos, which most of these are now, and do a little more planned formalistic kind of things. So that's about all.